It is 11:30 p.m. in the East, 8:30 p.m. in the West, and polls are now closed across the lower 48 United States. Let's check in on the race to 270 electoral votes. That's the number needed to win the White House. Here is where we stand right now. As you see, Donald Trump has 211, Kamala Harris 165. And part of those electoral votes include two new CBS News projections, Oregon and Washington State, both for the vice president. And in those all-important battleground states, you can see all 7 are in purple. In Georgia, CBS News now rates the presidential race there as lean Republican. And in North Carolina, CBS News now rates the race as lean Republican. Let's take a look at Pennsylvania, part of that blue wall the Democrats say a must-win for the vice president. CBS News rates this race as toss-up. In Michigan, CBS News rates this race as a toss-up. The Secretary of State there telling us they could have the vote counted by midnight. That doesn't mean we'll understand or know what that full vote is, but that could come quickly. And Wisconsin, CBS News rates this race as a toss-up at this hour. Let's check in on more of the Sun Belt states, including Arizona. Just about half the vote there in Arizona. Look how close it is, those prized 11 electoral votes. It is a toss-up at this hour. And then Nevada. Again, the vote, not enough of the vote yet in, but we rate that as a toss-up at this hour. As I mentioned just a short time ago, there's important news on the United States Senate. Let's go now to Scott MacFarlane, who covers Congress for us. Good evening, Scott.
Nora, this has such outsized impact on the next president. Which party controls the U.S. Senate? The evening began with Democrats and their feet in quicksand, immediately almost losing that West Virginia seat they've held for so many years. And now they are fighting an uphill battle and losing so many of them. Let's go to Ohio first. CBS News projects at this point it leans Republican. Bernie Moreno, the Trump-endorsed businessman from Ohio, leading Sherrod Brown, the 3-term Democratic incumbent from Northeast Ohio. He served in the U.S. House before his 18 years in the U.S. Senate. He literally wrote the book on Congress. Sherrod Brown is in trouble, and the trouble exists elsewhere as well. Let's go to Montana. The military veteran, the political newcomer Tim Sheehy, projected as a lean Republican race in Montana. The 3-term Democratic incumbent John Tester in trouble there. Democrats would have to make inroads into Republican-held states to offset these losses with such a narrow margin for error. They were bullish for a while on their prospects in Texas with Colin Allred, the former NFL player, but Ted Cruz, who eked out a 3-point win in 2018, projected as the winner here, and that is a wider margin with 80% of the vote in. Same deal in Florida. Democrats aspired to being competitive in Florida. Rick Scott projected as the winner there. So there are no more outs for Democrats on this map. They still have to protect the state of Pennsylvania. They still have to protect Nevada. And look at Arizona. This is an open seat. The incumbent senator in Arizona is retiring. Ruben Gallego, the congressman from the Phoenix area, faring well early on. We forecast this one right now as lean Democrat against Carrie Lake, who lost her bid for governor 2 years ago. Let me quickly show you the U.S. House. Oh, by the way, control of the U.S. House is at stake tonight. I'm standing in the very narrow battleground seat races that exist. The magic number here is clear, 218. There really is a bunch of offsetting dynamics so far, Nora. Quickly, in New York, Democrats making some inroads. There's a lean race that was held by a first-term Republican on Long Island, another one in central New York and Syracuse. Democrats faring well early, but Republicans also seem to be out of the gates good in some of their battleground races from Iowa through the Tidewater area of Virginia. A long road to haul in the battle for control of the U.S. House.
Really interesting there in Virginia. Scott MacFarlane, thank you very much. Scott, I'm sorry, can I just, does it look like Republicans could control both chambers?
Oh, that's certainly in play. The field is narrow in the U.S. House in several ways. Again, these are the battleground seats, the white chairs that surround me. Democrats net a gain of 4 seats. They have the majority. They'll have the Speaker of the House, likely to be Hakeem Jeffries for January 6, 2025, in the next 2 years. But the battleground races are not splitting in one way or the other. Well, watch for California, and it's going to take a while. Could take days to measure California. There are a half dozen competitive races there, many of them held by Republicans. Democrats have a big night in California. They can offset losses elsewhere. This is going to take days to figure out the U.S. House, but Republicans are bullish on their prospects.
Really important point. Scott MacFarlane, thank you very much.